What's going on YouTube? Today, we're going to be talking about the greatest game that you've never heard of, and that is Grand Theft Auto 2.8 Arnold's Revenge. If it was actually a game though.
Run! Go! Get to the chopper! Do it! Come on, kill me! I'm here! Come on, do it now! Kill me!
We're here to talk about Timestalkers for the Sega Dreamcast. Wait, you've never heard of Timestalkers either? Well, this is awkward. So Timestalkers, called Climax Landers in Japan, came out for the Sega Dreamcast in 1999. It was produced by Climax Entertainment, and it is easily one of the top 5 RPGs for the Sega Dreamcast console. Wait, I thought the Sega Dreamcast was like notoriously known for only having about 3 or 4 RPGs.
Shut up, Brandon. I'm trying to make the game look good.
So in this video, I kind of want to introduce you to this game, which apparently no one else in the world knows of its existence. So in the story, you first start as a character named Sword, who uses a sword. You just imagine if that's how like other video game characters work. Like, who does that? I like Knuckles. He's like always using his knuckles to like fight and shit. It's pretty cool. Yo, dude, that's pretty sick. Yo, Travis, who's your favorite character? Well, I like Final Fantasy V. So I guess the main character, Butts, is pretty cool. I like Butts. As Sword, in the beginning of the game, you find this old book, and upon opening this book, it transports you to another world, which is connected to a bunch of other different worlds. And as you go through the game, you unlock more worlds, more dungeons, more playable characters, and it's kind of just this journey with the other characters and seeing these other worlds, trying to come together, fight the evil, get back to their own worlds, and save this world at the same time. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the story. I mean, that's it.
That's all, folks.
So the other characters that you can play as, you've got Knife, you've got Gun, you got Baseball Bat, you've got Rao, Nigel, Pyra, Marion. They're all cool enough characters. They're pretty fun. They're all unique, have different skills, different musical overworld themes, and they all have their own kind of tiny hub world connected to the main world. Aside from that, though, there's absolutely zero character development, so all the characters are pretty shallow on top of what they bring to the story in general. There are some small nods to each of the characters, so there are 3 characters that are from Climax Entertainment original games that they have produced. So Nigel, Lady, and Pyra are from previous games. So there are some nods, there are some callbacks, I guess, from fans of the series. We'll pick those up in the game, but it's very surface level. It doesn't go much more in depth than that. And none of this story is canon either. So again, it's kind of just all cosmetic. Depending on who you beat the game with, you do get different cutscenes and different endings. Again, most of these are callbacks to their original games. There's no voice acting. There's not. What? What is this end screen? What? That's a leftover end screen from Crash Bandicoot or something. But look, the characters. I didn't play this game for the rich character growth and rich development. The characters are fun enough and individual enough to play. They have different skills. They interact with the game a little bit differently. So it's a fun enough time, you know, to warrant, I guess, multiple playthroughs if that's what you wanted to do.
Multiple playthroughs, he says.
So the gameplay is fairly simple. It's a roguelike experience. So you're going through each dungeon, leveling up on the way through the dungeon, on your way to the boss. And then you pretty much just rinse and repeat in each dungeon. Upon defeating the boss, pretty much a new world, new dungeon will appear, and you just repeat that process until you've beaten the game. There are a few character dialogues in the overworld in between dungeons, if that's your thing. You can also go back and replay dungeons to level your skills, level your party members, and find new items, new gear, things like that, if that's what you want to do. But as far as storyline depth goes, that's pretty much all you get. The dungeons, as just now stated, follow the patterns of many other roguelike games. So each time you enter a dungeon, you will start back at level 0, which means each time you enter the dungeon, you will have to re-level. However, upon beating a boss, beating the dungeon, you will sometimes gain skills that will stay with you permanently. Now, that doesn't mean they stay with you permanently and you can use them at level 1. Sometimes they come with like a stat requirement. So it might be like a healing spell, for example, might be 3 intelligence to use. So if you enter the dungeon and you're at 0 intelligence, you will just have to level until you get 3 intelligence before you can use the healing spell. So it can be a bit different each time you enter, and depending on how many skills you have equipped, those requirements might be higher. So it's really cool mechanic to keep you engaged and make each dungeon experience a little bit different. And you can kind of customize and mix and match which skills you want, which ones you think you'll need, which ones you don't want to level each time you have to enter. Weapons kind of work the same way as skills. Some weapons might have lower requirements, but they might be weaker. Weapons that are particularly stronger will have higher level requirements. So basically what you have to choose is, do you want the early levels of the dungeon to be easier and then maybe you have to struggle later on? Or do you want to struggle through those first parts of the dungeon, but once you get your weapons and your skills, the rest of the dungeon is kind of a breeze. So again, there's a little bit of customization there, and you can kind of play the game however you want to, which is pretty cool. Dungeons also have another pretty cool mechanic where there could be traps or items hiding kind of in each tile that you're walking on. So you can choose to manually search the tile, or you can allow your character's luck skill to play a part in it. If you manually search the tile you're standing on, however, it is going to cost hunger points, just like in real life.
Son, have you finished cleaning your room?
Mom, I don't have enough hunger points. And once your hunger points reach 0, you will slowly start to lose HP. To replenish your hunger points, you will need to eat fruits, but you can find those in the dungeons, or you can purchase them at shops also. You can also find weapons and armor within the dungeons, so they might just be laying on the floor, or you can search the tile. Also, some of those weapons, some of those items will also need to be further identified. And again, that can be a character skill that you use, or there are certain items that can be used to identify them also. So this kind of all plays a role in inventory management, as you can only go into the dungeon carrying 4 items with you, and that's including your gear. Another pretty cool mechanic in the game is the monster capturing system. Monsters can be captured and then used as allies. Once you've registered them, pretty much like a normal party member in other games, once you have them captured, they will just level up beside your main character. They will again start at level 0, but by defeating dungeons, defeating bosses, they will gain permanent skills, which can be used. So this is cool to engage you into the new areas, and it's always exciting seeing what new monsters there's going to be. It's fun leveling the monsters and seeing what skills and stuff they're going to have. Once you've played the game for a while, you kind of get your favorite monsters and the ones that work for you and your play style. So I think it's a nice little added feature. I wish they would have went into a bit more depth, but it's pretty cool and it's a nice little concept. Pokemon! The combat is a turn-based kind of semi-strategy game. It's not too in-depth, but there are strategy elements there. It's kind of like strategy light game, like a diet strategy game. Timestalkers light, no calories, 0 artificial flavors. Each character and attack can only hit certain tiles, so you kind of got to manage that system a little bit. So it's pretty fun once you get used to it. You can also battle up to 3 enemy groups at a time. So this kind of adds to the management. It also adds to the experience multiplier at the end of the battle. So there's a lot of customization with how you even fight your battles. Luckily, there are no random encounters. You can see the enemies on the map, so you can avoid them, or you can try to group enemies together to take advantage of that experience system. I think no random battles is just a home run. I think games should do this more often. It's not too difficult. There's also no battle transition for when you do run into a group of enemies. It just seamlessly goes into the fight, which again, pretty cool. Fucking nailed it, did. Overall, the battles in the game aren't too difficult. However, they are a little finicky, so you can find yourself often getting one-shotted, or if you just miss too many times, Sometimes that can go south very quickly, but other than that, it's not too much to worry about. Other than the combat, there are a few other ways to interact with the game. There are mission notice boards. Basically, you can pick up more quests, so you can replay dungeons, you can find better items and equipment, and that's some of the only ways to locate some of the legendary weapons and armor you can get in the game. There are blacksmiths where you can upgrade said legendary weapons and armors. There are item shops, obviously. There's the monster capturing ranch. There's not a lot of interactability there, but it's cool to see your monsters running around. There was also the little memory cards, if you remember, on the Dreamcast where they were VMU. So I remember playing on those, which was another way to kind of grind items and grind levels outside of playing the game. However, if you are playing this game nowadays on an emulator, you won't have access to those features. So keep that in mind. Emulating is bad. Next up, let's talk about the graphics. Look at those graphics. It looks real. It almost looks real. You can't tell that it's a video game. Next question. Let's get into the soundtrack. So for me personally, this is actually my favorite part of the game. I always appreciate a good soundtrack, but the music is just so damn catchy. It's nothing mind-blowing. None of these songs are going to go onto my playlist. Kidding, they're all on my playlist. I mean, come on. How can you not like this? How can you not jam out to this? The music, it's the song, the nostalgia song. Unfortunately, the game is just too short, however, and not enough depth to really let the soundtrack take center stage. So you only get small bits and pieces here, but what is there? I really like the sound designer. Well done. Fucking nailed it, dude. Hey, calm down. We get it. Okay, Timestalkers. It's not a great game. Okay, I can admit that. But it tried. It has some good concepts. I liked it as a kid. I didn't know of many other RPGs, especially on the Dreamcast. I'm not saying it deserves any rewards, but it deserves your respect. It deserves your respect. So Timestalkers, also known as Climax Landers, it's a fun experience that tries to mesh a bunch of different gameplay mechanics into one, and I mean, it kind of works. It would have been nice if the game had a bit more depth in any one of these areas, but I played the absolute shit out of this game as a kid, and even recently when we played this game on stream, I had a blast. It is a fun time. So if you're not easily offended by games that aren't top-notch and the highest qualities, I highly recommend it, especially if you're super weirdo like me that likes these weird hidden gems that not many people have heard of. Play the game. You'll have a good time. Anyways, that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next week in the next one. In the meantime, watch this video right here. God damn it, did I do it again? This video. Whatever.